Hello and welcome to the HiddenTracks podcast. My name's Shane Murphy, your host as always. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, 5-star reviews. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Doesn't matter. 5-star review. You can reach us at myhiddentracks.com. Our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail. You can also find us at Hidden Tracks on Facebook, at myhiddentracks1 on Twitter, and HiddenTracks99 on Instagram. Today, I'm lucky to have Finnegan Bell, the singer from Love Ghost, join us today. Like to welcome you here. Thanks for joining, Finnegan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really good, Shane. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's our pleasure here. Heard a bunch of your stuff, like what you're doing. It's different, which is nice. Different styles of music are always good because everyone has different tastes. So let's dive down into it. We are in a shitty situation in the world.
Yeah.
And you are an artist. So how have you been handling the year 2020 so far as it comes to a close?
You know, it was interesting. I think that oddly enough, I have a positive view on 2020 because I feel like just with the isolation and with because I was always a pretty isolated person. I think I was definitely a loner growing up, and I think that really 2020 forced a lot of people to embrace and face themselves in a way that possibly couldn't have been done in previous years. And I think that for me personally, I just I had a lot of time to record. I had we record all our music from home. We created a little home studio. So yeah. So, just mostly been dealing with, all of my, whatever it is, hardships, whatever I'm going through music, through making music, through writing, through recording, and really just trying to engage with people on the internet as much as I can through our Instagram, through our Facebook, our Twitter, and yeah, I just, trying to, be a light for other people that need it. That's how I'm just trying to use most of my time right now through 2020.
That's commendable. It's, we are in that shitty time where, some people discussed it with my guest the other day. I talk about a lot of mental health and how things have been really tough on a lot of people, and it's always tough for people to reach out. So if an artist can try to put something out there to help someone, whether it be through song or just a hello, is pretty commendable and awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a board in my room that I wake up to every morning, and really just it comes down to intention. And I just always say, I write music for, I want to be what my favorite artists gave me when I was younger. I want to help people that feel alone, help people that feel different, help people that are hurting, as my favorite artist did for me. And yeah, I hope that the songs that we create resonates with different people in that way as well.
Awesome. So you have come up in the era now, and especially in the time that we live in, where it's kind of song by song, where everybody's starting to just drop singles, and especially in the times that we're in, that's all we can really do. It's hard to put together anything to tour and have a full album to tour on. How have you found navigating that?
I think that, for me personally, I know there's a lot of musicians that maybe don't feel this way, but for me personally, I think that the current age of SoundCloud, social media, the kind of the DIY, do it yourself, releasing single by single, song by song. We basically drop a song now every 2 to 3 weeks. And for me personally, I think it's been super, super beneficial because it gives people just enough to gravitate towards and, put on their TikTok, put on their Instagram. And yeah, I really think that, I think it helps a lot, and just it kind of works good for my personal, my work ethic, having a new song and just focusing on that one song and finishing it every 2 weeks is just, a personal goal of ours, personal goal for me. And so yeah, so I actually really enjoy this current kind of like, I guess you would almost say, aggressive competitive nature that artists have like in today's age, with like dropping singles. I like the game. I think it's challenging, and I think it's worthwhile, definitely.
Yeah, and I think what it comes down to nowadays too is you honestly have to remind people.
Yeah,
You have to be on their page. You have to constantly be popping up in their, in their cycle of scrolls. And when for me as an old timer, I'll call myself an old timer, but growing up in the 80s and 90s and having always albums to have, and that was what you gravitated to because there was no other way to get music, so you constantly listened to it. But now you could put out an album and be forgotten in a short period of time because you have nothing new.
exactly. And yeah, it's a crazy world. It's just crazy how much music just has changed. Really, the consumption of music, I think, how much it has changed really over the past 10 years, but especially I think this year, and over the past 2 or 3 years. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy how much it's changed. And yeah.
So let's get to the meat of it. You're you're fairly young. You've been doing this for a while. I want to find out when music became a part of your life, when you were a child and it changed for you. And when we say changed, it's when it's no longer Disney soundtracks, cartoon theme songs, or sing-alongs on Sesame Street. It's when you heard your first bit of music that made you say, "Holy shit, what is this?" Do you remember when that was?
Yeah, I was 7 years old. I was in first grade, and I'd say like he was also my childhood hero. But for me, it was Kurt Cobain. It was Nirvana. It was hearing the Nevermind album, and just, yeah, I remember like I was going through my parents' CD collection, and I just saw the Nevermind album cover with the naked baby in the water. And at the time, it was really funny to me because I was a kid. I was like 6 or 7, so I was like, I just have to listen to this. I just have to put it in. So I put it in, and yeah, I just listened to that thing religiously. I was just obsessed. I would just listen to it again and again and again and again. And I had this stuffed animal, this like chimpanzee that I got at the LA County Fair. Actually, like, I won it playing one of the games, and I would like dance with this stuffed animal and listen to Nevermind just again and again and again and again. I think that, like, yeah, for me, that really just kind of, so I was young. I was like 6 or 7 years old, and just kind of felt like, okay, this is right. This is like what I want to do with my soul, what I want to do with my time here on this planet. I want to create music. I just want to, be a musician.
So where did that lead you to next? I mean, you dive into Nirvana, which as a 7-year-old, I mean, I couldn't even comprehend that. It was hard for me to comprehend it when I was, 14, 15, 16 when that came out. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I mean, that was hard for me to comprehend then because it was so different. So where did that bring you to next?
Yeah, so definitely, I'd say my music taste was a little bit all over the place, but it definitely, first, that 90s alt rock grunge scene was my first obsession. So that was Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Smashing Pumpkins, Rage Against the Machine, Radiohead, just a lot of those 90s alt guys. And then probably when I got a little bit older, maybe like sixth or seventh grade, like the start of middle school, I got super into emo rock. So then that was, My Chemical Romance, Dashboard Confessional, Taking Back Sunday. And then actually when I was in eighth grade, I got super, super, super into hip hop, but like old school hip hop, like Tupac. Like Tupac, I think, was super influential on me. And, Eminem and Dr. Dre and NWA and Snoop Dogg, and really that kind of that whole scene. And then later, as I got into high school, I think I got really inspired by like the SoundCloud emo trap movement, and how all these like guys who were really not that much older than me were just, basically like kind of like taking over the world, and just like singing about things that, about topics with mental health. So this was like, Bones, Juice World, Lil Peep, Ghostman, just to name a few. And yeah, so that's kind of like, but I listen to everything. I listen to soul, I listen to funk, I listen to classical. I try to always keep my mind open when it comes to music. I truly don't. I'm not. I'm someone who just tries to accept as much as possible and accept as many different types of music as I possibly can, because I think that you can find inspiration in almost in anything.
Yeah, that's well said. We like to say here that music is a universal language. So it doesn't matter what it is. There's music. You look at my music collection. It's like Ricochet Rabbit going through my collection. You're like, what is this? What is this? What is this? How do you have this and this and this and this? And it's just like it comes down to, it's my ear hears something and I like it. Doesn't matter what it is, what genre. We don't like to genre label things because it pigeonholes you too as an artist.
Yeah.
Which is hard. So it's commendable to be able to listen to a lot of different things. And you can hear that come out in your music too, that you have listened to a lot of different types of genres, as we'll call them, to find your own expression, as we'll say. So when did that start for you, when you decided to want to play music?
It like, as in just like play music, or like play music kind of like as like a career kind of?
To play music. You heard that Nirvana Nevermind, and you started to fall in love with music. So when did you decide to say, hey, mom and dad, I want, a guitar or piano or drums or something?
Yeah. So actually I took piano lessons when I was like a little kid. Like when I was like,
everybody did. I say this all the time. There should be 50 million pianists in this world.
I know, right? Yeah. So like I took piano lessons when I was small, when I was like 4 or 5. And then, but I started kind of playing guitar and stuff around like 11 or 12, kind of like, 5th, 6th grade. And yeah, and just singing and just trying to learn, every Nirvana song, every Green Day song, every Guns N' Roses song, every Smashing Pumpkins song that I could at the time. I took lessons. I would also go on YouTube, and I was actually where I met some of the members of Love Ghost at School of Rock at an after school music program. And so yeah, so I was I was like 11 or 12 when I just decided, like, okay, I'm gonna like, practice every single day for hours, and just like it was just a love for music that was, and then actually being able to play these songs that I really liked and stuff. It was just, it was awesome for me as a kid. Yeah.
And you started playing live in front of people shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Where does someone at your age get that amount of chutzpah to just say fuck it?
And just go for it.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but yeah, I just nosedived. I was like 12 or 13, and it was small at the time. I was playing at like, coffee shops, open mics, and people's backyards and stuff. And I think that, I kind of like had just seen like a lot of kids that were older than me at the time. They might have been, like 16 to 19 when I was like 12 or 13. And I just I was like, well, if they can do it, like I can do it too. And I should just, start as early as possible, so I have as much time to cultivate, something for my future. And so, yeah, so I was like 12 or 13 playing at, these wherever I possibly could with just an acoustic guitar. And then shortly thereafter, I assembled a band, and, yeah, just, really just trying to I knew what I wanted. I think I was someone who had one goal, one objective from a very young age. And I've just, seen it ever since.
That's awesome. Did you have a good support system behind you with your parents saying, "Hey, if that's what you want to do, we support you," or was there any resistance from, 13-year-old, 12, 13-year-old kid making that kind of decision, you know, sometimes you get a little kickback.
Yeah, I had super supportive parents. I think that, super supportive family, and I think that they can just kind of tell, like, in my eyes and stuff, like that, like this is just like what I really wanted to do, and like there wasn't really like a, I didn't want to have a plan B. I didn't want. I'd rather like, be. So I was very fortunate that I had supportive parents who would help me, and yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So how did you figure out to start composing and writing your own music? Was it taking and learning how to play other people's songs first that taught you how to create your own, or did it come as a struggle, or you started writing a couple songs and you're like, okay, I got this?
Yeah, so definitely as a kid, I was just like, I would love to write. Like, I would write like short stories all the time. I would like create like superheroes. I would create comic books. I write like a lot of poetry. Was like English was definitely like my strong suit growing up. Definitely just writing, in general. And yeah, I would kind of like, I'd say with like writing music, maybe it took me a little bit to perfectly to find my way. Like I would definitely first I would get inspired by other songs. I mean, I still do. Like, you get inspired by a song and you make something that kind of wants to sound something similar to that, or sometimes it'll just come randomly, just the inspiration. But I feel like it picked up pretty quick. Like there was definitely, I think that summer of like sixth and seventh grade when I was like 12, I like tried to write a song every single day. Probably it wasn't very good, the music I was making, but like I was still, trying to put that foot out there, hoping that something would stick.
Yeah. And when it comes back to that kind of stuff, is I tried to tell artists that even if you wrote it a long time ago and you thought it wasn't very good, if you save it and bottle it and put it away somewhere and come back to it 10 years, you never know. You could have had something special and surprise even yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally believe in that. I think that it'll even happen to me. Still it'll happen to us. Like we'll record something one day, and we'll work on it for a few days or for a week, and we're just like, man, you know what? I'm not feeling it. Let's trash this. Let's move on to something else. And then 2 or 3 months later, we open it up, and you're like, you know what? This is a really good skeleton of something. This could be turned into something very powerful. So yeah, I think absolutely, yeah.
So you brought up that you had met a lot of the people in the band at School of Rock. Is that just an after school program that you signed up for, or because I like to get in that kind of stuff because I know the arts are fleeting a little bit when it comes to schools now. There's not a lot
Yeah,
of arts supplied
yeah,
in terms of music or even actual painting and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. So School of Rock was an after school program that I went to when I was like probably like I only went there for a few years, maybe like 2 years or something, but maybe three. And yeah, I met the drummer Samson Young and guitar player Daniel Alcala there, and they actually like a lot of members have come and gone throughout Love Ghost. Like the original lineup, actually, I'm the only original member, but so I think that I just made some good connections there with some really good musicians, and just always kept them in my back pocket in case because how bands are, things change, and there's disagreements, and there's drama, so it's like, but yeah, just this lineup, we've been together for a while, and I feel really confident, and I can stand firm in it, definitely.
And when you, I know how bands work and they do split up, and everyone has a different vision, and everyone thinks, sometimes that, yeah, that's a great note there, but I don't want it in the song. Is this more of a collaboration, or is there, does everyone have the same vision and goal?
I'd say overall, it's definitely the congruency of the same vision, even though it's all different perspectives of that vision. I think that we all know why we want to make music, which is to help people, which is why so many of our songs are about mental health, are about, and we draw from personal experience, from our own personal hardships and traumas, whatever. And so yeah, even though like I'd say we definitely range a lot in inspiration, but I think that actually works to our benefit. Like someone that comes from which I kind of think is why the Love Ghost sound has many different elements to it, because we definitely, like, we're not afraid. Like, we'll bring in a lot of urban elements, a lot of hip hop elements, but we'll also bring in a lot of old school rock elements, and we'll bring in pop elements, and it's just we're just artists doing our thing. We're on some emotional shit, we're on some sometimes we're on some angry type stuff, some happy stuff, but definitely, yeah.
And that'll keep people coming back and listening, because if they don't know what to expect next, is usually why people stay tuned. There was the famous cliffhangers at the end of Batman episodes in the 60s. Stay tuned next week as someone's hanging from a cliff. And if you're putting out a song one day that is poppy and then the next day is aggressive, that leaves people like, holy shit, what's coming next?
Yeah, exactly. Like, for instance, last Friday, we dropped a collab with Black Sand. Shout out Black Sand, and it's definitely like, it's a song called Plywood, and it's super fun, and it's about like, and it's funny, and it's like funky, and it's sexy. And then we're dropping a song actually on Friday, on Christmas Day, that's totally like aggressive punk, but also urban too, and has like hip hop elements. So yeah, we definitely like to switch it up whenever we can.
Yeah, and so you also are pretty big into making the videos for your songs as well, which is a throwback kind of to what I miss sometimes, is actual music videos to go with a song. I miss them sometimes, and sometimes I don't, because I like to create my own music video in my head. But
Yeah,
it is something that lays a little more credence to a song as well, to get people a perspective and understanding of what the music is about. And you're pretty involved in that. So why don't you expand on how big a part that is for you guys?
yeah, absolutely. We make music videos for every single song that we drop. And yeah, I mean, I come from a pretty like cinematic background. Like, I grew up just watching like all these different types of movies, movie after movie after movie after movie. And like, my dad was a film collector, and so to me that was always something that's really important. And also, I just feel like in today's day and age too, with people's attention spans and how fast and how important it is to release things fast, I think that having a video backing the promotion, so people can then share that YouTube video, is crucial, is so important. And yeah, absolutely. And then it adds another layer to the song, and just from a visual perspective, yeah, I think it's super important, music videos. And it doesn't have to be something like super crazy every single time, but yeah, I'm always writing, like, trying to like imagine like what the music video is going to look like, and if there's going to be a storyline, if there's not. And yeah, definitely, I think music videos are super important.
So do you think about that when you're writing the song, of what the video could be? Or because you're kind of, songs tell a story, and then you have to tell that story in another way visually. Are you doing that at the same time, or is it you concentrate on the song and then we'll concentrate on the video?
I usually do it after the fact. So, like, the song will be completely written, and then the video will come second. Will come later. Yeah.
So when you guys are recording, and as you say, you put a lot of time, and you say you're going to spend like 2 weeks to write a new song, because we got to get another song out. Are there times where things just come easy to you, and you're just like, oh my God, we just came up with 4 songs at one time, and now we have to figure out how to space them? Or is it, hey, well, what the hell, that was awesome, we got 4 songs, and And hey, even if we got to put out a short EP, we'll do that.
Yeah, I think that yeah, it usually does come kind of fast, and we're sitting on a lot of unreleased material right now, even from unreleased material over the past 2 years that just hasn't come out yet. And yeah.
And now was a tough time too to even try to release music, and navigating that was pretty hard, and to drop the singles is a great thing. And in doing so, I mean, you've had some pretty poignant moments with "I'll Be Fine" that you released for Mental Health Awareness Month,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome. And was that song written specifically for that, or was it you wrote the song and then all of a sudden realized, wow, this means so much more?
It was funny. I actually, before "I'll Be Fine" came out, we were sitting on it for a year, and I actually wrote it when I was in high school. Like when I was at high school, that's when I came up with the idea for it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, yeah, basically, I mean, I didn't write it specifically for, I think, mental health or whatnot. I think I was just really writing about my personal feelings and how I cope with my depression, or, how people were treating me or feeling, alienated. And I think that especially, towards the end of high school, I was just really going through it with depression and alienation. So I just kind of and I think we worked on it for a day, and I was just I just listened back to it. I was like, you know what? Don't add anything else to it. This says everything that I want it to say, even though it just it came quick, and we sat on it for a year, and then we ended up, releasing it in May 2020. And yeah, and really that's also another thing that's important about the music videos too, because usually we tend to overthink some of our music videos. With "I'll Be Fine," we really didn't. We just it was right when coronavirus, the lockdown first hit. So literally nobody was outside, and we just thought, maybe we weren't even meeting at the time as a band. So that's why I'm the only one in that music video. It's just me walking around alone at train stops, because that's just what the world was at the time. The world was isolated. The world was depressed when "I'll Be Fine" came out. And I think that's why that song resonated with the amount of people that it did.
Yeah, it was, I mean, and we're still in that tough time that it's hard to imagine. I mean, especially at this time, we always try to look at positive things, and we try to look at, vaccines being released, and that's great. But it's still hard for me to envision going back to, live music, going to, my favorite clubs in New York City that I love seeing bands at, and thinking that it's going to be the same. And I think it's going to be a long time for us to get over that kind of stuff. And I also feel for artists, because I don't think a lot of things are going to, I think a first couple times there's going to be a lot of sellouts, and then it's going to get back to people slowing down. And are you guys prepared for that? Or did you have anything did you have a tour plan during 2020, or were you planning a tour for 2021 and, shit just got crazy? Or how do you foresee moving forward in what you're doing?
Yeah, actually, funny enough, we had a tour planned in March 2020, and the first show was at the Casbah in San Diego, and literally that day the show was on was when quarantine hit. That day was when it was okay, no more live shows, everybody stay home, this and this is closed, grocery stores stay open, everything else is closed. It was that Monday, or that Tuesday, whenever it was that exact day. So yeah, we had this whole tour plan for 2 or 3 weeks. It was up the West Coast, and yeah, it just got canceled. It sucked. And as far as live music goes, again, I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. I'm hoping June, July 2021, shows start happening again. And, hopefully we're preparing for that time range, but honestly, we just don't know. So we just, gotta stay ready. And that's also one thing too. It's like maybe things will actually open up quicker than we're anticipating. Maybe there'll be live music in, April or something, or in May, who knows? But so yeah, so I'd say that, once live shows do open again, we'll just have to, get ready for that accordingly.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be that mad dash of also artists who are like, okay, we got to go. Like
Yeah.
this is what we did before, so we got to do it again, and we just got to get out there. And it's going to be tough for some people to get pushed by the wayside, and we've lost some venues throughout all this, which sucks.
Yeah.
I
Really
I
does.
put on a show in my backyard. I have one of my good friends is in a band, and I was like, dude, let's do a socially distanced backyard show in October before, stuff got crazy again. And I was
Yeah.
just like, this is what we got to do. And I'm willing to do it. So if my backyard can be a venue, I'll open it up to everybody.
Hell yeah, man. That's really cool that you did that.
It was something that I hadn't seen the look on people's faces that I missed so much from live music, of just everybody was so happy and everyone was there for the same thing. And it was amazing. And it just made me feel so sad that I missed so much of that.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. And that's one thing too. I was like, I'm wondering too, it's like, even if like, let's say when Corona does end and there is live music again, once that day comes, it's like, I just wonder, just because people are in such a paranoid mindset, as they rightfully should be, about Corona. But it's like, I wonder, like, once venues are open, like how many people are going to, not even feel comfortable going to be like inside of a club, inside of a nightclub with other people. So that's one thing too. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, half of the people that, were going to shows before are not going to shows anymore, just because of the social anxiety that's going to be induced about being, close to people again.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot more things that are going to come up that people aren't talking about right now. And I think that one big thing is going to be social anxiety for people who didn't have it before.
Yeah.
And it's something hard to deal with. I still somewhat deal with it on a daily basis. I know where my threshold is when I'm uncomfortable, and how to pull myself out of that situation. But I think there's going to be a lot more people in this world that are going to be experiencing things that they might not have even thought about. They could be at home right now, and they, got to the new normal of dealing with, certain things, of being isolated and at home. But when they get back out to the same things, just being in a place and also starting to have a feeling that you've never had before, and trying to figure out what's going on. And I think we kind of need to figure something out about that now, and how to deal with that, because I think that's going to be a huge issue moving forward.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think that the social anxiety, I mean, me personally, I've just always had really bad social anxiety, growing up and whatnot. But yeah, especially now, there's just, there's so many more things I think, to be worried about going on in the future. I want to tell people just to not think about that, not worry about that. But, but it's real. It's not like, yeah, it's real.
Yeah, it's hard to tell people that, hey, everything's going to be okay, when no one really knows. And, every day is an adventure right now, which is trying to just navigate your own life and safety, as well as others around you. But yeah, it's hard to get people to say, hey man, listen, it's going to be okay. People will come up with their own creations there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about something a little more fun. So you go back to Nirvana. I'm probably not going to think this could be, but is it? What's your favorite band? You're allowed to have more than one too. Like, do you have a favorite band that you constantly like? Yeah, that's my favorite band. Like, if someone were to ask you what's your favorite band, the band name that's going to come to your head first.
I think I definitely go through phases of favorite bands, or just really just like favorite just artists in general. But I'd say like Right now, my current favorite band is Deftones. Like I've just been listening to so much Deftones lately, and yeah, I've gone through phases of Deftones being my favorite band, and I'd say right now Deftones is my favorite band.
Awesome. And I don't think Deftones truly is as many people as you would talk to that you could say that name to. They'll be like, oh, yeah, yeah, I know the Deftones, but nobody really knows them. I don't think they ever get their just due. I mean, I know they're popular, but I don't think they're as popular as they should be, where people have dove into everything. I mean, I grew up in the 90s with the Deftones. So, I mean, they just continue to put out just amazing stuff over and over again.
And their latest album that came out, what was it, last month?
Ohms,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ohms is awesome. They're still at it. Like they kick ass. I mean, so much respect for them, and yeah, I think they do deserve more credit. Absolutely.
So I hit on that a little bit right there, and that was a crazy segue how it set itself up. But I like I list them as like an overrated but underrated, to a point where you can say Deftones to somebody and be like, yeah, no, I know them, but nobody really knows them, so they're a little underrated. Do you have anybody else that you would think of that could fall into that category that you're like, wow, I think these guys are pretty big, but they're not really that big because people may not have really dove into them?
Yeah, there's a lot of groups like that. I mean, it's hard. It's like I think like a lot of people that I'm thinking that might be in that category right now are young, so like they're still on the come up. So like maybe things will be different in a few years. Like groups like City Morgue or something. Like I love City Morgue, and but yeah, I think there's a lot of bands that are known enough that most music fans would at least have heard that name. But like how many people actually really take a deep dive into the material and really embrace them and can really you know all of their different songs or albums. And yeah, I think that there's so many bands that are like that, so many artists that, and that's one thing that's sad too, is a lot of these like bands and stuff you see like when they're here, or like when like the members are like alive, like they're not as appreciated. But then after something super dramatic happens, after one of them passes away, whatever, then people start like they feel that remorse and they really take a deep dive. And I just feel like people should appreciate each other like when we're still here. That people should be appreciating artists like more. Like you know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. I've said it plenty of times on this podcast, where I feel that it's important for people to, especially artists. I found myself probably early on, and when you're young, you may not have this feeling, but as I get older, I make a point to, if I have an opportunity to go to the merch table and talk to the artist that just played, tell them how good they truly are. Not that great show tonight, man, but listen, you're extremely talented. It was fucking awesome to see, and I don't ever stop doing what you're doing. I think that lays that a little more credence than, hey, great show tonight, man, which is that cliche thing that you say because you don't know what to say. But I've started to make a point in my life where I'm like, if I really, really appreciated something and it meant something to me, I go out of my way and I'll stand and I'll wait to be like, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you, except for what you just did. And what you just did was fucking incredible.
That's a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate you for doing that. I think that that means a lot to artists, especially like my bad. Like whenever I've had that type of reaction, I think that it's just like it's rough for a lot of artists out there, financially, emotionally, whatever it is. And so yeah, thank you so much uh for taking the time to say those things to those artists. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're HiddenTracks. We are that song number 99 on a CD. That if you harken back to the days of CDs when you all of a sudden you'd get 75 songs that were 1 second and you got to that hidden track. That's what we're doing, because we want to take that hidden track and make it special. We want artists to know that they're special. We want people to know that they're special, regardless of if they think they are or not. Even if they think they are, we want to, reinforce that in them, that you are special.
Hell yeah, definitely. I'm all for that, and positive vibes, and even like on social media, like I try to show as much love to other artists and other creators as I possibly can. I'm always shouting out, underground music, and just really I feel like there is no like verses in the music world. And I mean, like, obviously there is, like, there's beef, like, that's real. Like, there's people that, like, there's artists that hate each other and whatnot. But I just feel like, like, it should all be like a family. People should just, try to come up together and, not like feel any type of like resentments or like, whatever it is towards other artists. Like, it's dumb. Like, I just feel like we're all, powerful as a unit,
Yeah, and I think it's hard when when business gets in the way,
Yeah.
and that's where I struggle when it comes to music, is when business gets in the way. When there's artists that I've loved, and they're on indie labels, and they sign that big major label deal, and you automatically hear the next album, and it changes, and you're like, well, if you're a smart enough person when it comes to music, 90% of those guys, that wasn't their vision.
Yeah.
And that's when business gets in the way of music. And that's why I think today is so awesome, that there's so many different outlets, and there's so many different indie labels, and there's so many different things where people can just say, hey man, we're going to support you. Put out what you think you are.
Hell yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So we hit on some awesome things here. One thing that I want to find out for young artists such as yourself is touring. Now you've toured around the world. What was it like on your first like tour, leaving your school of rock, leaving things behind? Did you have apprehensions and anxiety going into that? And like, what was it like when you got to your first new country to play?
Yeah, so it was a mixed bag. I mean, School of Rock, I did that when I was young, when I was like 12 or 13. Then I went on tour for the first time at I was young as fuck. I was 18 when I went on my first tour. I was super lucky that I just, the right person heard me at the right time at the right place. And yeah, we went to Ireland. This was in 2019, like early 2019, like January 2019. And yeah, I think that I was just ready to kind of to move on, to leave things behind. I don't want to say like I was like running from things at home, but I
Yeah.
definitely needed, I wanted that new environment. I wanted
Experience.
that experience. Yeah, absolutely. And it just like I think it happened to me so just like it was just a lifestyle change that happened so fast. I went from being like the kid that was like, in the bathroom, like smoking weed, like not like giving a fuck, to like being like the guy who's like, up on stage every night in front of hundreds of people, like in foreign countries. Like it was just like, and this happened, over a course of like 6 months. I mean, it didn't, because like, I've been working on this since I was a kid, since I was 12, but it culminated fast, and I think that, so there was definitely a lot of like mental stresses, mental factors that came with it, like internal struggles with just like uh being a kid, and like what other people like would think of that. And like, but I just said like, fuck that, like this is what I want to do, and like why should I like, this is a business at the end of the day, and I'm not gonna like compromise um for somebody else. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna try to fly.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. Good for putting that foot out there and doing it. And were you the one that were you booking yourself? I've talked to a lot of people that, they hold everything, where they have to book, call the venues, do that. Or did you have some help with that?
I had help. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a lot on an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
So we're going to come in on some time here. We don't want to keep you very long. We appreciate you coming on today. We end our show every week with our weekly threes. It's 3 things you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out.
Yeah, sure. Here, let me just. I've been listening to an artist, Princess Brie, a lot. Shout out Princess Brie. She released an album in I think it was in December called "Sick of It All." I think that people should check out that album. I'm going to shout out my friend Black Sand, who I did a song with. Dropped a song with him last week. He dropped his album Black Ops 3 a few weeks ago. And then thirdly, I'm going to shout out an artist named Wayne Wood. And so I've been listening to those 3 artists a lot. They're all super talented, amazing musicians. Love their music, and hell yeah, that's my 3 recommendations.
Awesome. Mine this week are Billy Joe Armstrong put out a covers album called No Fun Mondays. It's been a long time since I even listened to anything that he has done, not even as Green Day, but it's actually pretty fucking rad. The next is Rat Boys, band from Chicago. Awesome, cool indie band. And next I have A Will Away. Awesome. I don't want to. I'll just another indie rock band. They're just fucking fantastic. Don't want to label them, but those are my 3 for this week. So Finn, what do we have to look forward to coming from you guys in the future?
Yeah. So just lots and lots and lots of songs and videos, and maybe some you'll be looking forward to some collabs too. We're going to collab with lots of artists in 2021, but yeah, we're going to be really militant. 2021 is just, you're going to be seeing, we're going to be dropping a lot of music in 2021. A lot of songs, and we might even drop some projects too. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited to share our music with our fans.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing. We look forward to the future. Why don't you tell everybody how to find you guys and how to seek out everything that you guys are doing and how to stay on the radar?
Hell yeah. You can find us on Spotify. Just look up Love Ghost and, give us a follow, listen to us there. If you don't use Spotify, we're on every streaming service, Pandora, Apple Music, SoundCloud, whatever you want to do. You can follow us on Instagram at loveghost_official. You can give us a like on Facebook at Love Ghost. On Twitter, we're just Love Ghost, and even on TikTok too. We make TikToks all the time too. So yeah. Thank you so much for having me on HiddenTracks. This has been an honor. It's been great to talk to you, and yeah, you can find us on all those platforms.
Well, that's awesome. And everyone out there, this has been Shane Murphy from HiddenTracks, Finnegan Bell from Love Ghosts, and we want to tell you, just go out there and have a great time. Thanks for stopping by.